Okay, what's a prebiotic, what's a probiotic, and what's a postbiotic? So a prebiotic is food for your bacteria, and that food comes from plant material fiber. So people who don't eat fiber are starving their bacteria. Guess what? They eat you, okay? That's what's happening. And then the bad guys die off and the good guys die off and the bad guys grow. That's what happens. So if you have a picky child, you've got to make sure they're eating some kind of fiber on a regular basis, and it's varied. Now, what does that mean? You need 50 to 250 different plant materials in a month. Count them. You're probably at like 20. It's crazy, right? We think that there's 12 vegetables, but you need a lot of variety. And that is super important to feed your good bacteria. Those are prebiotics, so that's the food. And that should not make you bloated after you eat. And if that's happening, you have bacterial overgrowth in your small intestine. So then you have probiotics. Probiotics we're pretty familiar with. These are the bacteria that actually are growing in your gut. Now here's the bad news. Most probiotics don't work. I'm so sorry, but they don't. Your stomach acid kills most probiotics, which it's designed to do. It's designed to kill bacteria. It's a good thing. And so when you take those probiotics, you are getting some impact, because I do use them, and there are different qualities and goodnesses of different ones. But you also don't want to take the same one all the time, because you'll overgrow that guy, because a little bit will get through, tiny bits will get through, okay? So they have to be rotated. And we actually use 90% of the time, I'd say, a spore-forming probiotic. And that means that it's a bacteria that's non-native to your GI tract that actually promotes the good bacteria, the commensal or keystone species, inhibits fungal growth, and then dies and leaves. Okay, that's a good one. Those are spore-forming or soil-based probiotics. So those are super important. And then you have what's called postbiotics. And these are really therapeutic for people who especially have constipation. Postbiotics are sterilized fecal matter from healthy donors, and they have all these signaling molecules in there, and they do things because your bacteria communicate with chemistry. And so those are really powerful to get people who are constipated unconstipated and help heal that gut. And then there's actual fecal matter transplants, which we use with people who have things like ulcerative colitis or severe Crohn's or some pretty nasty things. That's where you actually take like a living organism, because that's what that is, from someone, a donor who's very healthy, their poop, and you actually transplant it into your body. I know it's crazy, but it's really helpful. And then there's also things like helminthic therapy, which have an immune modulatory effect. That's a whole nother conversation. But hopefully that is helpful for you to understand kind of what a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic is, and when you use them. All right, have a great day.